This bill requires that schools teach ethnic studies starting in kindergarten, and I am against this. You might ask, why in the world would a Black person speak against ethnic studies? Because not everything that sounds good is good. The definition of ethnic studies right there in the statute says that there's a connection between a person's race and their stratification. The bill tells kids of color that they are stuck in a caste system based on their race. It also tells kids, and I quote, that institutions chronically favor white people and disadvantage people of color. I'm sick of everyone denying the enormous progress we've made in this country, acting like it's 1930. We used to have a race-based system. We got rid of it, and now you're all trying to bring it back. This curriculum will not help kids of color succeed. All it does is remove any reason to try. And I repeat that, it removes any reason to try. But now with equity, they're lowering the standards for everyone because they say out loud, without shame, they're doing it because we can't meet the standards. All of it just serves to make us look dumb. And I'm so sick of it. We Black people need to wake up to this crap and realize we're being used and get out of it. We have to get out of it. And it's only us. We are the only ones who will lose if we don't.
Hello, I'm Kendall Qualls, and this is Fully Charged. On this podcast, we counter the progressive narrative and give you a perspective you'll never hear conveyed in the public arena. Thanks for joining us today. We have a special guest, Kofi Montzka. She has been making the rounds on national news outlets because of her recent testimony she gave in front of the Minnesota legislature. So Kofi, so glad to have you with us. And Kofi, give the audience just a brief background. I mean, they've seen you on all these different platforms. They've heard you on the radio. You testified before the Minnesota legislature about your issues, your concerns about the ethnic studies, as they call them. So give a little bit more about your background and why this is so important to you.
Well, as a little girl, I grew up with a mom who was on crack, and I had many other issues I won't get into besides that as a kid. And I always went to school going to school as a little Black girl thinking, what am I going to do when I grow up? What am I going to achieve? Nothing is going to hold me back. Even though I was dealing with, multiple trials at home, sleeping in a bed with one bed with my mom and my sister, but nothing was going to hold me back. And today they're telling kids that the world is going to hold them back and that they'll never make it. I know that's not true. I know it from myself. I know it from all of the other accomplished Black people I see out there. And it makes me angry when I see it. And I feel like I have to do something about it. We're going to lose a generation of kids who have no hope.
Well, that's fantastic. You're absolutely right. The message they're giving, not only to these kids, but to everyone else that's not in the Black community, that this hopelessness in this country is so bad that you can't make it. It's evil. It's not just wrong. It's evil. So glad that you're voicing you're weighing in with your personal experiences, your voice, and what a strong voice it is. Your mom will be proud, and I'm sure your kids are as well. So give me an idea. What was probably the most surprising thing for you coming out of that testimony?
Well, it was just surprising that it got any response at all, because I learned about all of this, the hearing the day before at like 2:00. And I didn't want to testify, but after reading it, I had to, because it was just so blatantly evil and terrible and divisive. And so I was kind of sick to my stomach preparing for it. I had bowls all around me because I was so nauseous and I was typing. And so I just had no idea it would get that response, because I wasn't in my right mind preparing it. I was so nervous because I care about the topic so much, and I didn't have much time to prepare. And I've just been surprised by all of the articles, reaction videos, posts on Twitter by many people I respect. People are sending me postcards and letters. I was on Fox News twice in a week. Daily Wire did an article. Chris Rufo, Ian Rowe, Not the Bee. Somebody asked me to speak at a seminar. So anyways, I'm very shocked by it all. The biggest compliment is when people say that they plan on incorporating the things that they've heard from me into some of their repertoire and arguments. And it's even a bigger compliment when people who I thought would disagree with me actually agree with me. I mean, it's my desire to make complicated concepts simple and to show people that this is not a partisan issue and this is something that we can all get behind. Nobody wants this type of hate and hopelessness they're putting on kids.
Well, absolutely. And again, I think more so in our community, our kids have been hearing these kind of narratives ever since they were little kids. They need to hear a very different message that this is a land of opportunity. It's really up to you. It's the fire in your belly more than anything else. The help from others. And there's plenty of people in this country, regardless of race, that are willing to help you succeed.
Amen.
It's 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 amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So, man, I like I said, I loved your passion about it. I think one of the things that got people so excited about your testimony, the authenticity and the realness of that message you delivered. You can't fake that. You can't make that up. So I think that came across in spades. Is another reason why I think it went viral across our country, and it's so needed. It's so needed right now. So another thing. So here's I got a question for you. Why do you think the language of the bill is exactly opposite from the title that it's given? Why do you think they do that?
Well, they do it to trick people. They always do it. They have anti-racism, which is really racism. They have, ethnic studies. Well, how can you be against ethnic studies when really all the bill does in the plain language of the bill is divide people up by race and pit them against each other. They don't use examples of wonderful Black people and people of all different cultures from the past to inspire people. They're pitting people against each other. But I think they use this language so that if you say I'm against it, then they can call you a racist and immediately silence you.
Yeah, I think the same thing with the whole term diversity, equity, inclusion. It sounds nice. It sounds like, yes, we would want this, but everything it pushes is counter to the narrative that we all expect. I have an issue. That my concern is when you label something good, but you define it something different. Why the deception? Why the deception? They have an agenda that's not the best, not only for Americans, but for our country, I believe. You have any comments on that?
Well, yeah, I think that their agenda is to divide, and I think people are sick of it. I think the common person, no matter what color you are, what political party you are, common people are sick of being divided. We want unity. We want to get along. It's okay to have strong convictions on issues that you believe in. But I believe most people, from my experience and in my life, want to get along and want to love each other despite skin color, class difference, all of that.
What's the motivation for you, so you can kind of make that clear for everyone as well?
Well, there's nothing in it for me. I praise God. God has blessed me. Despite all of the trials I've grown up with, I have a family, I have children, I have a husband, I am a lawyer, I have a good job. I'm very happy people in my life who love me. I could just go about my business. And believe me, sometimes I try to ignore the world and go about my business, but I just can't. I can't sit by knowing that I made it despite all of that, watching all of this crap happen to the next generation. And there are racist people in this country. I believe that, but they're not the cause of our disparities. And it bugs me so much when we talk about disparities that racism is the only answer. No one is willing to look at any other real solutions that might be difficult and messy and hard, but that could actually solve the problem. And Take Charge is doing that. And so that's why I'm involved with Take Charge.
You speak a lot about, the white liberals that push this narrative. I have an issue, and I understand, and I totally agree. I have an issue with Black leaders that push this hopelessness message, and it's the man's problem why we're in this position. They push a narrative, they benefit, everyone else stays in the same position. No one else improves their lives, but they enrich themselves. I have a big issue. What's your message to them? Because that happens quite a bit.
Yeah, and I first want to correct what I said last time about white liberals, because there are some white liberals who actually agree with me on this message, and there are some Republicans who go the other way. So I should just say proponents of this message of helplessness and victimhood. So that's what I should say. And the Black leaders, I do have a problem with it because they made it. What we can do is we can achieve at the same level as everybody else. If we want people to think we're bright and smart, if we want to have self-respect, respect for ourselves, and gain the respect of other people, we have to achieve just like everyone else. No affirmative action, no taking away professional exams, because we want more teachers, like they're doing with Minnesota's new law. They say they have to take away the teaching exam. They specifically said this at the hearing because people of color can't pass it. We want more people of color teachers. We're never going to gain the respect of others or ourselves without succeeding on the same level playing field as everybody else. They're taking away suspensions because Black kids can't behave. They specifically said this. So racist. We want reparations. We don't want to have to earn money on our own until we can achieve, just like every other race, every other nationality. No one will respect us. No amount of whining, crying, demanding people stand with us, see us, smell with us, whatever they say in these slogans. Nothing will help it. We have to achieve, and we can do it. We're created equal by God. I don't care if some people don't believe it. And we can do it. It's messy. It's hard. But we can do it. And that's what Take Charge is diving into. How can we do this? What can we do to make a difference for ourselves?
You're so right. And you know what was sad about this? We were achieving before. We were achieving at parity and higher levels. I mean, before all this stuff going on, we had astronauts in the space program. We had accountants. We had attorneys. We had doctors. We had people that had their own trades, professional, companies. To say that we can't and we need to dumb things down, that is being driven as a political narrative. I totally agree. It's dangerous. Number one, it's self-defeating.
Yes.
And you'll always be. I don't see how by embracing this anybody can walk around with a level of self-respect.
Mm-hmm. And the people pushing the message don't push this message for themselves. They don't apply this to themselves because they do have self-respect, but they want other people to believe it. And the other message that I have for Black people in particular is that all of these, and for the people who think they're helping us, all of these policies hurt us. All of this woke crap hurts us most. You take suspensions away, which they're doing in this new bill. All we're talking about is the ethnic studies. No, this bill is terrible, taking away the teaching standards, taking away the suspension, so teachers won't be able to remove kids from the classroom. Who does that hurt? That hurts all the other cute little, sweet little Black kids, just like I was in class, who are trying to learn. They can't learn because the teacher can't teach when they have someone distracting. They are the ones getting stabbed. You know what I mean? It's not the people in the suburbs or wherever they are promoting these messages. It's our kids being hurt. It's our kids being hurt by having low standards for behavior. And you might let them go now, but the prison system's going to catch them later. So you know what? It's our people who are hurt. And so it makes me angry when Black people promote these messages for our kids, because I can't believe we're being tricked by this crappy language. We cannot be tricked. This stuff is hurting us the most. Take away testing, people will think we are dumb, and there's no way to prove we're not. So it makes me mad that they used to just lower the standards for Black people or people of color about affirmative action. But now with equity, they're lowering the standards for everyone because they say out loud, without shame, they're doing it because we can't meet the standards. All of it just serves to make us look dumb. And I'm so sick of it. We Black people need to wake up to this crap and realize we're being used and get out of it. We have to get out of it. And it's only us. We are the only ones who will lose if we don't.
Listen, thank you for joining us. I know you got a long list of other things you got to do besides not just this, but you have a family as well. But Kofi, thank you. God bless you. Yeah, you and your family. And thank you for being part of what we're doing.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Okay, take care. Thanks for watching Fully Charged. We created this podcast to counter the progressive narrative and give you the other side of the story that you'll never hear. If you like this podcast and you believe in what we're doing, consider subscribing and giving us a 5-star rating. And most importantly, share this podcast with family and friends. To find out more about our work, go to our website at takechargemn.com and consider supporting us. Your support helps spread our message. We'll be back soon with more of the perspective you'll never hear. Bye for now.